to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, we just had Fight Night Friday, which was crazy. If you got a chance to see it, we was playing Mortal Kombat 11, and we went and played Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's enjoying themselves. We got a chance to see a brutality, which was crazy. You want to see it? It happened to Dip Down. Beat on you. I walking you down. Dip down, not a flawless. Dip down, punch him. Dip down, something. Oh, good. All right. See, that's what he get. He could have got it, but he wanted to do that to your ass. Oh. Oh no. Oh
goodness.
No.
Gracious.
Oh no. Oh no.
I got quiet.
Oh no, you can't play no more, Dip Down.
Man, you dead, bro.
No, Dip Down. You better give that man his respect. Boy. Nah, I would not wish that on anyone. But boy, oh boy, when I tell you he just wasn't right after, that's an understatement. But if you love fighting games, if you love playing the games with others, well, come to the sister channel, Frontline Gaming Streams, where we play games daily, and Fight Night Friday is a must. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we play up until 8 o'clock. Get up out of there. You know, not going to take too much of your time. We're just going to have some fun and, you know, move on. But how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Did you eat a lot of turkey? Did you have all that tryptophan? Or was you porked out? Pause. Or ham? Ham? Did you just base ham? Or bacon, slather everything in bacon? You know how you guys do. You guys actually look forward to eating that bacon, that juicy, delicious bacon. Or how about some of that beef? You're always trying to slam beef in your mouth. Pause. Very disgusting. But I know you had yams, tomatoes, ham, or whatever. I don't know how that song goes. But anyway, we got some news. We got some leaks. We got some stuff that's going on. Stuff that we do want to talk about. Stuff that we always want to talk about. And that's Xbox. If it's your first time finding the channel, well, you found your new best friend. And if you love Xbox, that's me, the King. I drop videos daily, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know where to be. You can come and follow me. But let's get into these topics because there's some stuff that's going on that we need to talk about. And I cannot wait for you guys to leave comments because I read every last one of them and I answer them. Nate the Hate is back at it again. Now listen, I ain't gonna lie, man. Two of my most anticipated games that's coming from Microsoft and Xbox is definitely Clockwork Revolutions and Forza Horizon 6. And, you know, Nate the Hate, he talking again. And you know when he start talking, stuff start happening. So, again, shout out to Nate the Hate for dropping a little bit of science on us. Now, all right, so Clockwork Revolution. I think one of the writers actually let that leak out on his LinkedIn. So he put, 2026, but we kind of knew it was like 2026 and they never gave us a time frame, or we assumed it was 2026 for Clockwork Revolution. And myself, I think Clockwork Revolution, it looks dope playing with time and all that other stuff. And I don't know if it has an RPG to it, aspect to it, or if it's just straight action, but time manipulations. I like Blinks the Cat. I like the time manipulation thing. So again, I want to see what that's about. to be honest with you. And what I try to do is, when it comes to video games, pretty much I like to watch the trailers. I really try not to read too much up on the game because I don't want too much spoiled for me. When it comes to my video games, I just like to get a chance to, play and discover. So my best aspects of video games is the discoverability to it. Now, Forza Horizon 6. That thing, knowing that it was set in Japan, knowing that this year was an iconic year for Iron Lord's podcast and going to the Tokyo Game Show and actually getting a chance to put boots on the ground in the land of the rising sun and getting a chance to talk to developers out there. It was a struggle at first based upon the language barrier, but we got vastly acclimated to the climate very, very, very rapidly. And we tried our best. So again, this was kind of serendipitous. The fact that Forza Horizon 6 got announced and got a place, location, which is in Japan. So, some of my best racing games from past generations consoles was the Midnight Racing, the Tokyo Midnight Racing. So yeah, this stuff I'm looking forward to. We do know that Xbox has a robust year ahead of us, and the fact that Grand Theft Auto has slipped to the second half of the year will give a lot of games opportunity to breathe. So games like Forza Horizon and Clockwork Revolution, being that is a new IP, I think new IPs need as much space away from existing IPs that are juggernauts. So hopefully we get a chance to see Clockwork, someplace around April, May. And we could probably get a chance to see Forza, honestly, in February, March. So these titles are looking really good because they're talking about early time in the year for both of these titles. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a person that is eager, especially when it comes to racing, especially when it comes to Forza, eager to get back into racing and having some fun. Now, this came to me a minute ago, and Nintendo acquiring Bandai Namco Studios of Singapore. No one's talking about that Nintendo is acquiring them, and they kind of keep it hush when it seems to be other entities doing acquisitions. With PlayStation, it seems to be elation from the PlayStation team. Like those people that are associated with PlayStation. I'm not talking about the actual team itself. I'm talking about, Twitter heads and stuff like that. When it comes to Xbox and Microsoft acquiring anything, there becomes a level of scrutiny that is intolerable. It's borderline disgusting, to be honest with you. The fact that individuals feel that Xbox or Microsoft acquiring anything gives it a negative reaction, and it's off-putting, to be real with you, from the media to Twitter to anybody else. But Nintendo picking up Bandai Namco Studios of Singapore, and the new name will be Nintendo Studio Singapore. That's kind of strange, right? So, the future business projections of it is the acquisition will have only a minor effect on Nintendo's results for this fiscal year. But they're talking about the overall entity whose shares will be acquired as Bandai Namco Studios of Singapore. The location, they give the place. They give the business activities, game development, including creation of in-game art assets, and the amount of money that was necessary in order to purchase was $1 million Singapore dollars. And the date of foundation was in March 2013. But as of November 2025, that is wholly purchased and owned by Nintendo. This is something to keep your eye on, something that's interesting. Me personally, I feel that, there should be more levels of scrutiny because Nintendo, doesn't play well with others. So are these titles and are these assets are going into the war chest of Nintendo and not being disseminated upon everybody else? Because Bandai Namco is a third party publisher, and those games were for everyone. Now, I'm not saying that every Bandai Namco game has reached the Nintendo platform. What I'm saying is that the Bandai Namco titles have also been available on Xbox and PlayStation and PC. Does that change? What is the outcome or the aftermath, if you will, of such acquisitions? Does this turn them into isolated entity that is wholly distributing their games onto the Nintendo platform? I just wanted more clarity when it comes to this because based upon everything that I'm seeing, Nintendo actually just likes to lock stuff away, and that's not befitting anything that is beneficial for gamers. This is pure dirty work, man. I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. Like what's going on here is rather disgusting. You got a game that came out on the PlayStation 3 and the 360 with the definitive versions coming out on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And we're talking about the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on the Switch 2. Like, listen, I brought my Nintendo Switch based purely on the fact that the console itself will be delivering me Nintendo games, not third-party games that have launched on other consoles. And when I say that to say this. I've known that Nintendo has long dropped out of any type of competitive race when it comes to the major two with PlayStation and Xbox. So in getting a game from Nintendo or for Nintendo Switch 2 that has launched on other consoles, I know dramatically that I'm purchasing an inferior product. I did not know the inferiority went this deep. And seeing what Tomb Raider Definitive Edition looks like on the Switch 2 doesn't give me any hope that any form of any Grand Theft Auto would be available on that device. The device is weak and it produces an image that is just barely adequate. If you've never had access to the other iterations of the title, then you just don't know exactly how deficient this title is when it comes to comparing it to the other titles that preceded it. This is disheartening because for the price point, you expected something to be at least with that older title, way older title, to be a cut above. It shows you that the tech that's in the machine is old, inefficient, and not competitive when it comes to the other machines in which it's trying to compete with. Now, I don't care if you tell me that Nintendo is not competing with PlayStation and Xbox. I'm telling you, when they're competing for my engagement and they're competing for my dollars, then they're in a competition regardless of whatever they want. I would never purchase this title under any circumstances, based on the fact that this title doesn't even exceed 2 generations ago. And I'm going to say this. One of the biggest points in the definitive edition was the tensellated hair, where Lara Croft hair was tensillated. A departure from the non-tensillated hair that was on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, where Lara Croft herself, when you saw cutscenes when the game was playing, the singular strands of hair is represented in those iterations of the title on the PlayStation and on the Xbox. But on this one that has come out in 2025, they could not even get that to work. The fact that they had to cut back on that and the depth of field, also some of the lighting, majority portions of the shadows, lets me know that that machine is not at all capable of doing anything robust as far as graphical wise. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, King, I mean, you're going a little bit harsh on this. Well, I'm telling you this. When you're going to come out with a title in this day and age that has been released many generations ago, then it please eclipse those titles. Because this is unacceptable. I guess this is why they held back the dev kits, because seeing the titles up against the originals doesn't bode well for this old machine that was just born. It's like Benjamin Buttons. Now, with Nintendo, the thought has always been, where is Call of Duty? How come Call of Duty hasn't shown up on a Nintendo device yet? And that was because of the lack of dev kits. But now it seems that Xbox and Microsoft has the dev kits, and Call of Duty could be showing up to the Nintendo platform, but not for many years, maybe. Based on the new job seeks, Xbox developers are needed with Switch experience. Now, I dare to say this. I think this was calculated. I think this stuff is orchestrated by Nintendo itself to allow them enough time to get newer iterations of the Call of Duty franchise out while they work on older titles and to bring it to the platform. Remember, they signed a 10-year contract in order to receive Call of Duty. I don't know when's the last time Call of Duty has been released on a Nintendo platform, if it has been released on a Nintendo platform at all, because I would never look to a Nintendo platform to give me the experience of a Call of Duty. But, okay, so they're looking for a senior technical artist role, which makes this job listing particularly different, is the finer details that Sledgehammer notes. That the bonus for this role would be somebody with AAA mobile or Switch experience. And, again, that may not happen until 2027. Now, Activision says they're fully confident of bringing Call of Duty to the Switch, and they're fully committed to making this happen. Just when is the bigger question. And one of my titles that I really do like, I do like Control. So the thought that Control 2 has been trademarked and Remedy is sitting on maybe a trailer. A lot of speculation is in the industry right now that title could be shown at the Game Awards. We know that on December 11th, the Game Awards will be here, and we might get a chance to see one of the best games that Remedy has put out this side of Quantum Break. Now, the name of the title is Exodus, so quite possibly, could be. I don't know. Maybe. What do you think? Hopefully, we get a chance to see this. December is shaping up to be a very interesting month when it comes to games. Now, we know the first half, we don't know the second half of what's coming out to Game Pass this month. And being that is the month that gives with the solstice, and for those that celebrate Christmas, Xbox Game Pass, the games that are coming so far that we know of. Now, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, and why wouldn't you, right? These are the games that you can look forward to happening. So you got Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Now, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a side-scrolling beat-em-up in the vein of old-school beat-em-ups, and it's a wonderful looking game, especially if you're a Marvel head. If you're a Marvel head, the game kind of speaks to you, and it kind of speaks to me. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually like the game a lot. So, and I got a chance to play demo of on Steam. Then I got a chance to play at Summer Game Fest. So I'm thinking about that. Lost Records. I'm not really a huge fan of Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. Never was a fan of the series. So that's for those individuals that like that series. I'm not a true fan of that. That's going to kind of miss me. Routine. That looks kind of creepy. Now, the stuff that I got a chance to see is really, really creepy. Space exploration, and it looks like you're on some type of ship, and robots are walking around autonomously. Gives a very creepy vibe, gives a very alien-ish type of feel to it. So hopefully it lives up to my expectations to it, you know. So, in a game about digging, again, another title that I just feel probably is gonna miss me and may work for other people. If you're into that, you know. Again, another title that is just a title that they'll be adding, and I'm not really particularly interested in. Dome Keeper. So this reminds me of a lot of Atari 2600 games, and quite possibly a game that you might fall in love with. Raw Fury is the developer. The publisher, and the developer is Bippin Bits. So maybe it might work out for you. I don't know. These are the type of titles that I will download to my ROG and on my Steam Deck and play them. So being that my ROG is my new main handheld of choice, bumping my Steam Deck out of contention, I might download this and give this a shot. But these are the titles that we know so far for the month of December. And like I told you before, I eagerly look forward to Routine and Marvel Cosmic Invasion. So 2 titles that look great. One on December 1st and the next one on December 4th. We don't know the full list of what December is going to give because that's just up until the 9th, people. So, Game Pass Ultimate, stay on the lookout for the second half of the month. Now, I'm glad you made it to this part of the video. So, again, we got all this stuff happening. We got Nintendo purchasing Bandai of Singapore, Bandai Namco Singapore. And that's, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Any type of acquisitions from Nintendo and PlayStation kind of concerns me based on their pedigree of isolation and segregation. They are not all inclusive. Nintendo and PlayStation actively practice segregation. But I'm going to say that PlayStation has learned to play with others with a lot of integration. They are a third-party publisher, so you may see the majority of their games leaving their portfolio and going in other places based upon their need to expand because, you know, honestly, their limited demographic aren't being as supportive as necessary. So we see them doing something strange for some change. So we understand exactly what it is, and we know what it is because as us Xbox fans, we can sympathize with what has happened. Yeah, a lot of our games have gone over, and a lot more will be going over as well. So get used to it, buddy. Don't put your head down. Turn that frown upside down and smile because you have Game Pass. And with that comes privileges. And speaking of Game Pass privileges, boy, you know how I get when I get a day-and-date drop inside Game Pass. Now, I'm looking for a routine, and that game looks dope, but I'm also looking at Marvel Cosmic Invasion. That game, listen, both of those games look really good. And in the month of December, you look for titles that is going to get you through the month. Because, listen, we have Destiny 2 dropping Renegades on December 2nd. You have, I think, December 4th, a new Fortnite something. No, Fortnite is today, actually. I think Marvel Rivals is December 4th. Just so much titles in such little time. And then we have the leaks for the rest of the year. Now, what I plan on doing is doing a whole like Xbox state of Xbox going into the future of what Xbox would look like next year, because we do have a ton of stuff based on this. You know, you do see the leaks and you do see Clockwork Revolution, and that title within itself really excites me. I want to know where they place it in the calendar. Is it the same time as South of Midnight? Is it kind of like Indiana Jones? What does that look like? And then you have Forza Horizon 6. Is that title for the South of Midnight, or is that the Hellblade 2 space? I believe that Microsoft and Xbox has seen their cadence and in how they're going to release the games. And in seeing Grand Theft Auto 6 being pushed back to the second half of the year, you can pretty much schedule your stuff out, understanding what is what and where your titles will lie. But I don't think that Xbox, in particular, out of the big three, well, Nintendo itself is shielded because it was never getting Grand Theft Auto 6 regardless. So you have PlayStation, which is probably a little bit more effective because you want to figure out where you're going to place Wolverine. So Wolverine will probably come out in some type of like September-ish type of thing to garner enough steam going into the holiday season. So with these titles and these topics and the stuff, I just want to know where you fall with all of this. You know, when Nate the Hate talks, we tend to listen, but we listen with a grain of salt because, you know, he's wrong a lot. But, you know, hey, that's what happens, right? That's what happens when you have a lot of information. Sometimes you could be wrong, sometimes you could be right, but that's on him. I'm not a leaker. I don't care about any of that stuff. All I care about is playing games. Now, if you're a member, you know that I have those titles that those videos that's going up with the titles that I actually love the most. So you're going to start seeing something, if you're a member, it's called King's Top 5. And my top 5 this, my top 5 that, you're going to see exactly. And let's see if we think the same. If we have the same gaming sensibilities. If you and I actually share the same libraries or the same love for games. Or maybe I got a game that you've never heard of that you might say, damn, that kind of looks cool and I want to check that out. Hopefully I can help introduce you to a new game. And you guys can talk in the comments, you know, about that stuff and let me know about some new games, but you guys get it first. And I do have some stuff that's going out for members again. Also, members, we're going to be talking about getting those movies to you with that stuff and that free food. So this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, what I want you to do after you share it out and, you know, talk about it with everybody and, you know, retweet and do all that other stuff. Yeah. That's great. Hit the sub notification bell. Bing, bing, bing. What I want you to do, what I always try to do, I want you to go where winners win and gamers game. And I want you to do what? Oh, I didn't even have it on. Try to play the Game Pass. That was embarrassing.
Play it day one with Game Pass.